Jacksonville, Florida. What is going on up here in the Northeast Florida region here in this Jacksonville metro area? Holy cow, look what's up again. Homes under contract, up again. But what else is up? Home sales are going up again. And what else is going up? The interest rates are going up again. How in the world is this happening? I'm going to try to figure it out. I'm going to show you all the facts and numbers from the real numbers in real estate here in the back end of my MLS account. I do this every week, and this is what I'm going to show you tonight. You see, when I go into the back of my MLS, I'll show you the actives, the solds, under contract, withdrawals, expireds, new homes, condos, and foreclosures. Also look at those rates, conventional, FHA, and VA. I've got graphs that show the square footage, the inventory, median price, and days on the market, and an Excel spreadsheet of all the MLS data and much more. Questions of the week. I take buyer and seller questions and I pick one every week to go over. Houses of the week, I show you an example of what sold below list and what sold above list, and we look at what they paid for it and also their appreciation. I even throw in some headlines. I'll show a weekly headline or two. And that's not even all of it. So let's get started first with the back end of my MLS and to all those active listings, because that's your inventory. Okay, here we are in the back end of my Northeast Florida MLS account, okay? And the Northeast Florida MLS is the largest MLS board up here in Northeast Florida. All right, so what we're going to do is look at those active listings. That's your inventory, as I said. And for currently, we have 7,368. Whoops. Bumped up a couple. All right, next thing I look at, what sold in the last 7 days. 419 sold in the last 7 days. Next thing I'm going to take a look at are those active under contract. These are all the ones that are under contract right now with contingencies, okay? Now, after contingencies, then they go pending. Right now, there's 1,346 active under contract. All right, how many went pending in the last 7 days? That's right, it's a weekly show, so we look back 7 days for everything. Those that went pending in the last 7 days, 439. All right, when you add up those that were pending and those that are active under contract, that gives you the total that are under contract. All right, next we're going to look at how many people withdrew their listings. That number is 61. These are homes that are still active listings, but they're in withdrawn status, so they cannot be shown. A lot of them do just finish out till the expiration, but some come back on available for showings. Next, we look at how many expired in the last 7 days. That number was 125. Now, expired listings are different than withdrawals because these are off the market. They did not sell. And a lot of times they're just priced too high. Sellers were out there trying to get it and just couldn't do it, or there was an issue with the house. Okay, next we're going to take a look at those new homes and see, out of all these homes sold, how many were new homes that sold. That number is 115 in the past 7 days. Next, we take a look at the new home inventory, see where it stands right now. The active listings of new construction is 1,854. All right, next we're going to take a look at the condos. I started that a couple of weeks ago, and people seem to like to see this, so we're going to keep with it. And right now I'm going to take a look and to see how many of the active listings are condos. And that number is 852. Next, I'm going to take a look and see how many of the solds were condos. Of all the homes sold, 41 were condos. Okay, the next thing I'm going to take a look at is I look at those foreclosures. Now, this also includes those that are in pre-foreclosure and those that are short sales, and I break them down. Okay, the amount of foreclosures this week is 217. Now we take a look at those that are in pre-foreclosure status, and these are of the active listings, okay? 18 active listings are in pre-foreclosure status, and how many are in short sale status? That number is 24. All right, now I export all that data and I put it into an Excel spreadsheet, okay? and then I clean it up and create a spreadsheet of my own that's a little bit easier to read so that I can track these week by week a lot easier, and also a lot more information I've got on prices of homes and home sales in different categories. Hey, you know what? This is week 41 of this show I've been doing, okay? Season 2, week 41 of Bubble Watch. And I've been doing it every Friday night, except maybe a couple times it aired on Saturday because of technical difficulties, but it shows up every Friday night at 6:30. All right, now let's take a look. While everything's calculating in those spreadsheets, let's take a look and see what those rates did. All right, here we are looking at the 30-year fixed rate, and last week we ended up at 7.09. We went over 7, and we are still going even more over 7. Holy crap. Now we ended up at 7.16, and also I'm showing last year's at this time, so this was year over year, and you can see that we were in the high 6s a year ago. All right, next thing I'm going to look at is those FHA mortgages, because they tend to be a little cheaper. All right, here we are with the FHA. Last week we were at 6.55, ended up at 6.68. Not quite knocking on 7's door for FHA, but it's getting up there. All right, let's see what the VA rates did. Okay, those VA rates also jumped up there last week, 6.58, and ended up at 6.7. All right, the next thing I do is, like I said, was I look at these graphs. Now, this graph shows the price per square foot. I track this every week also, so we can see, all right, are we going up or down? You know, what's happened? Did this bubble come and go? I don't know. We're going to find out. We also look at that inventory, look at the median price, see where it's at, and then also look at those days on the market. So let's head to those graphs right now. All right, here we are looking at that price per square foot, and holy moly, look at that. It's flattened out, okay? Man, every week we're wanting to see, where is it going to turn? Is it going to turn down? Is it going to turn up? This is amazing, all right? Now let's take a look. If we look 1 year back, and you see how rapidly it went up, prices went up, but they're not coming down as rapidly as they went up. And for those of you that like to take a look at that 3-year chart, we're going to take a look at that right now. And there's the 3 years back. All right, next thing we're going to take a look at is that for sale inventory. All right, here we are. Now all this is in Jacksonville only. Now, when I do the MLS, it's all, there's like several counties, okay? It's all the Jacksonville Metro, but this is just pretty much Duval County. That's what these numbers. That's why they may be a little bit off from what you see in my Excel spreadsheet. The for sale inventory here, we can see the inventory has dipped a little bit there in Jacksonville, okay? Let's look 1 year back. And 3 years. All right, next thing, let's look at that median list price. Okay, here we are, the median list price. As you can see, it's flatlined, just like the square footage, and we would expect to see that. Here we had this drop, going down, and then, uh-oh, now it's flattened out. Let's look at 1 year back, and you can see where it rose really quickly, just like the square footage, but it's not going down as fast as it went up. And for those that like to see the 3 years, we'll take a look at the 3-year chart. There we are, 3 years. All right, next, days on the market. Here we look at this. This is interesting how it is flattened out. It was climbing, now it flattened out some. So what's this telling us, okay? Is there more activity? Is that why homes now have kind of stabilized on the market? It's not going up, they're getting sold quicker. You know, we'll have to watch it. All right, we'll take a look at the 1 year chart. And then for those of you that like to take a look 3 years back, there's your 3-year look. You know, we're going to look next into my Excel spreadsheet and take a look at these numbers here that I pulled off the MLS there and compare them with the previous week and then the year over year. All right, now something that I've got to tell you, you're going to have to hang around for the houses of the week, because tonight is going to be a little different. I got to tell you something that happened this weekend, and holy cow. I went with, it was somebody here from Bubble Watch Nation. We went out looking at houses, all right? I went with them to look at houses this weekend on Sunday. Found a house, put in an offer, a cash offer, okay? The cash offer we put in above the list price. Cash offer, done deal, right? Now they told us there was multiple offers, so that's why we put it in there, all right? Well, wait until you see what happens, okay? I'm going to talk about it in the houses of the week. We were stunned. I was stunned, and also my customer was stunned. All right, so stick around for that. You're not going to want to miss this. All right, let's look at, now we're going to take a look at those Excel spreadsheets of all these numbers from the MLS. All right, here we are, starting out here with week 41, you know, season 2. And we start off there with the active listings, 7,368. And right here you can see also, like last year at this time, we were at 5888 for the amount. So we definitely have more inventory than that. And the inventory is gradually going up because last week it was 7344 and the week before that, 7183. All right, homes sold. 419, that's up, okay? Now last year we had more homes sold at 444, but we're up from last week, which was 362, and the week before that was 306. Active under contract, all right, 1,346. Last year it was only 861 under contract at this time, and the interest rates were about the same, okay? Actually, we're a little bit above that though right now, as we saw in that interest rate chart. All right, last week though we're at 1294, and the week before that 1197. So as you can see, the people going under contract continues to rise. What about pendings? There we see 439 this week. Okay, last year, you know, it was 697 pending, all right? Last week, 403, the week before that, 421. For total under contract, 1,785. That's up over last year's 1,558 and last week's 1,697. All right, the number of people that withdrew, 61, which, you know, is about the same as last week's was 57. Last year at this time was 66. Expired, okay, 1 week back is 125 this week. Last week is 117. Week before that, 133. And last year at this time, 145. So not a whole lot of change there. New homes sold. All right, 115 this week. But look at 2 weeks ago, it was 40. Last week, 83. Last year at this time, 96. So the new homes there. Now, of course, new homes, we know right now they're giving a lot of incentives. They've also reduced the price. We're gonna look at that in another spreadsheet here that shows the new homes that sold below list price, the percentage. All right, new homes that are active went down a little bit. The inventory, 1,854, and that's expected when the sales go up. And last year it was 1,647. Okay, last week it was 1,908. So we see that it's dropped some. Now here, what is the percentage of homes sold that are new? Out of all the homes sold, how many are new? 27.45%. That's over a fourth of the homes sold are new construction homes this week. Last week it was 22.93, and the week before that was 13, but that's when there was only 40 sold. So we're seeing last week and this week about a fourth of those homes sold are new homes. All right, let's take a look at those condos. All right, we've had a lot of interest in the condo market. What's going on? So that's why I'm following it now. The condos that are active, 852. You could see last week it was 842, and the week before that 790. So there are more condo inventory coming onto the market, okay? Sold condos, you know, 41. Last week was 29, the week before that 28. And the percentage of active listings that are condos, 11.56, which has stayed pretty close, okay? Last week was 11.47, and the week before that 11. So not a lot of change there. All right, how did people pay for these homes? All right, when we look at this next chart, it's going to show the amount of people that paid cash, 29%. That's up from last week was 26%. Conventional mortgages, made up 42%. Last week was 41. FHA 16, last week 17, not much there. VA is where we had to drop. From this week's 11%, last week it was 14, and so the difference there was made up with those cash deals, okay, when we went up to 29%. Others were rounded off at 2%, and I'm still surprised others are at 2% still, with the rates going over 7 for conventional. I would have thought that would have gone up, but we'll keep an eye on that. All right, next let's look at that foreclosure numbers. The foreclosures for this week, 217, they continue to climb. We've seen them start really climbing up. I mean, since week 32 it started. Okay, last week it was 201. Week before that, 185. So we're watching these. Okay, they are definitely increasing. Pre-foreclosures dropped though. Last week it was 22, this week's 18. Short sales, 24, up 1 from last week, 23. For the total, 259. Last week, 246, and the week before that, 219. All right, now the next thing I'm going to look at, these are the homes that sold under list, at list, and above list. This is for all homes, okay? And then the amount of homes, the percentage that sold for 500,000 and above. The amount of homes that sold for 500,000 above, you see, is 27%, okay? Now that's down from last week's 29% and up 1 from the week before, that was 26. All right, now this could be because of the new homes, okay? A lot of new homes, you know, are up in those price ranges. All right, homes sold under list, 80%. That's an increase from last week's 75%, but the same as the week before was 80%. So 80% of the homes sold are selling under list. Homes sold at list, 11%. That's a drop, okay? Last week it was 15. Homes that sold above list, 9%. A little bit of a drop. Last week was 10. The week before that was 8%. So not a whole lot off there. But that, just think, 80% of the homes are sold under list. It all depends on where the home is and the home, you know, on what's going to drive this number. All right, let's take a look by the price categories. All right, here we are. Homes that sold 500 and above, 27%. Homes that sold in the 400s, 14%. Last week it was 12. All right, homes that sold in the 300s, this week 28. Last week it was 29. Homes that sold in the 200s, 21% this week, 20% last week, and homes that sold below 200,000, 10%. All right, as we can see, that sweet spot continues to be there. Homes in the 300s for most people, but right next to it is the homes that sell for 500 and above. We've got those two split there. But what if you want a new home for less than 300? Well, check out this headline. All right, the Great Compression. I mean, look at all these homes here on this street here. They all look pretty small, don't they? All right, well, there's a reason for that. As we look down in this article, it talks about this guy who lives in a 600 square foot house. That's right, not an apartment, a 600 square foot house. And he's, I mean, you know, they make all kinds of comments about it, but he was basically saying, for his life in the U.S. housing market, a house under $300,000 is something increasingly hard to find, especially new. Now, I don't know if those, yeah, I guess it is new. Yeah, he says here, the price allowed Lander, 63-year-old retired nurse, to buy a new single-family home in a subdivision, okay? So less than $300,000. But what's he get for less than $300,000? A new house, 600 square feet, all right? All right, that's wild, huh? Because, you know, a house, you know, that small, 600 square feet. So I was curious, do we have anything like that for sale up here? Because I really don't have people asking for them. Well, there really wasn't anything here in Jacksonville, like a new house for that, but I did find a couple that are in the Jacksonville metro area. And by the way, this Jacksonville metro area consists of the 9 counties, okay? So let's take a look at and see, and these were in the more southern part of the metro area. And look what I found. All right, here we've got one here we found. It was listed by Berkshire Hathaway Home Services here in Florida. New construction, as you can see. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 504 square feet. It's a mini, all right. I mean, they definitely were using wide-angle lenses, you know, on the pictures there. I can't believe they got 19 photos of a 500 square foot house. 2 beds, 1 bath, though, 199,900. Okay, almost 200,000. Looks like they reduced it by 15. Look at the square footage price. $397 a square foot. In fact, Zillow didn't even give a Zestimate on this one. They passed on that. All right, let's look at another one I found. All right, this one here was listed by Century 21 St. Augustine Properties, a 2-2. Okay, so we got an extra bathroom, 787 square feet. Okay, most apartments are about that size. $269,000. The square footage is a little bit better here at $342 a square foot. All right, and you can see new construction, new home. This one here, they were able to grab 20 photos out of this mini mart. All right, what else did I find? This one here listed by Grand Living Realty. Look at this, a 1-1, okay? 750 square feet, so that means you got a bigger kitchen or a living area. They managed to get 26 photos out of this 750 square foot 1-1, all right? Price, $259,900, which puts it at $347 a square foot. But Zillow went out there and gave it a Zestimate of $243,200. So there you go, a 1-1, 750 square foot, $259,900. So yes, there are new homes under $300,000 out there. Okay, now just to let you know, all right, if you happen to want to put in an offer and buy one of those houses, definitely give me a call. They're in my area. So, and I sell new homes. Some people don't realize that, but yes, if you see a new home, do not call the builder rep first. Call me first, and then I'll tell you why, and we'll talk about it, and then I'll help you with purchasing that home, and even offer you some help with reading that contract. By the way, on the new homes, it's like a phone book. If some of you know what a phone book, remember what a phone book was. All right, let's get back to those Excel sheets, and let's look at the new construction numbers. All right, here we are looking at the new homes. Homes that sold under list, 80%. All right, last week it was 72%, the week before that 73%. So we're seeing them going up. That means they're giving deals. Not only are they giving incentives with the interest rates, but they're also cutting the price on the homes, okay, from their list. Now, a lot of these, they've cut themselves, and they're selling at that new list price, okay? Some of them you can make an offer of less and they'll take it, but some of them it's just where they cut the price from the original list. Homes that sold at list, 11%, a big drop from last week. Last week it was 20%, the week before that 19%. So we're seeing a big drop at list. Homes that sold above list stayed about the same. This week it was 9%, the last 2 weeks it was 8%. All right, the next thing I do is I look at MLS Advantage, and what this does, it gives us a broader picture of this Jacksonville metro area, because you see, in the Jacksonville metro area, there's 9 counties basically around here. Okay, so out of these 9 counties, there's some smaller MLS boards. And those MLS boards, they all cross-sell into our area. I cross-sell, I sell in their area, okay? So this gives us a broader picture, and what I look at in the MLS Advantage, I only look at just the solds, but I do break it down by counties because people asked me to do that, so we can compare to see how the counties did from the previous week and see where the activity is. All right, so let's go back into that MLS Advantage. And before I do that, if you happen to like the way I'm presenting all these numbers and I do everything, then give me a like, okay? I'm not talking about whether you like the numbers, all right? You may not like the numbers. That's not what the thumbs up is for. It's for if you like the way I'm doing this, all right? Now let's take a look at MLS Advantage. All right, here we are in that MLS Advantage, and then we're going to look down here at the counties, and here's our 9 counties: Baker, Union, Bradford, Clay, Nassau, Duval, St. John's, Flagler, and Putnam. All right, next thing I do is we hit that search engine over here and see how many we've got sold in these 9 counties. And that number comes to 596 units sold. Okay, now I took all those data from all those counties, put it into the chart. So we're on week 41. Here we'll start off Baker County this week. 2, last week was 3, so down 1 in Baker. Union County, 0. Last week, 0. The week before that, 0. I'm glad I'm not a real estate agent just in Union County. I'm all over the place up here in Northeast Florida. So Bradford County up 1 to 4. Clay County only jumped up 1. I'm surprised to see that. Nassau County up to 45. Last week was 39. Duval County, not a big increase there either. This week 210. Last week it was 203. St. Johns County, where there's a lot of the new construction, heavy new construction going on. This week 181, where last week it was 134, so that's a pretty good jump. Flagler County also, and that's your Palm Coast area, had 78 sales this week, and last week it was 58. Putnam County doubled what they did. This week they're 25, which was good for them, and last week it was 12. And we look at the total, 596 this week, 502 last week. The week before that, though, it was 345. So as you see, the sales are going up as the interest rates are going up and as the people under contract are going up. Now this chart that I show, that I get all these numbers from, this Excel spreadsheet, it's available to you. I have a weekly newsletter comes out every Tuesday. If you email me at northfloridaliving@outlook.com and tell me you want to be put on the newsletter list, then I will put you in for the subscription. In there is a link to download the Excel spreadsheet that I use on this show, so you can do that. All right, now is when I do question of the week. However, something came up and it wasn't with my deal. I heard about it from another deal up here with another realtor, and it's a warning that I think I need to tell you all about. Okay, and there's, man, you know, a lot of people think they got a good real estate agent, and man, I see otherwise a lot of times. This is one of those. Okay, this person, an older person, elderly person, saw a commercial for somebody to call, you know, about selling their houses. Well, it turns out what they did was they were selling the house, they were buying houses, and they came up with the contract where they give them like a cash offer to buy it that was low. Okay, so say the house was worth like, you know, basically $300,000, and they were going to give them like a cash offer of like maybe $225,000 or something like that. But they said they would put it on the market, put it in the MLS, and sell it, see if they could get a better offer. However, what this person didn't realize they signed, it was a listing agreement, but it had like a power of an attorney clause in there, which allowed these people to do anything. And what they were doing, I mean, they had the power of attorney, so that is a legal document. I don't think it's ethical what was being done. Was they basically could run the show with offers. I mean, turn them down, accept them, whatever. So people were making offers on the house, and it just wasn't getting to the person. They didn't know about it. And so this is tough because this person could be in a pickle. Now, they should seek, you know, a lawyer for this. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an accountant, so I'm not giving any legal advice or accounting advice in this show. But this is a warning. I mean, be careful of what you're signing and who you're dealing with. A lot of people just don't know. Definitely if you're here in North Florida, I mean, give me a call. Like I says, you know, if you like the way I present this show and do things here and you want to work with me or a member of my team, we'll help you out at getting the house. We have a great buyer's consultation. I go over the seller's listing agreement. It's great. If you're listing with me, I put you on YouTube, the video of your house, all that. So if you'd like to, new homes, used homes, then give me a call at my phone number at, which is 904-699-6169, or at the email northfloridaliving@outlook.com, or you can text me and we'll help you out. But man, this is really bad. You really have to be careful out there. If something seems too good to be true, it is. And this person, I don't know what the outcome's going to be, but they might be getting stuck on selling a house for a lot less than what they could have with the other offers that weren't presented to her. All right, now we're going to look at the houses of the week. I'm going to show you the houses of the week, and then I'm going to tell you what happened with my customer when we went out this weekend house hunting and shopping. All right, first we're going to start off with the home that sold below list price. Okay, this one here is a home in Nassau County, built in 2003, 2,228 square feet. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. All right, what I'm going to do is, what I do now is I look at those, at the history to see what's going on. When we look at the history here, we see they started off at $765,000, okay? Didn't take them long to lower it to $745,000, and you can see as they lowered this down, gradually lowered it down, they ended up going down to $635,000 they lowered it to, and then that's when they got an offer for that and took it, sold. So it was 41 days on the market, $635,000. That equates to $130,000 below that listing or asking price. All right, let's see, what did they pay for this house? Okay, here back in December of 2016, they bought the house for $198,000. All right, now $198,000 back in 2016 was a pretty good price for a house. That was up there a little bit, so it's definitely is a nice house. Of course, it is a 4.2, over 2,200 square feet. All right, when we put it into an appreciation calculator here, we see that they had it for a little over 7 years, 17.73%. Okay, now remember, 5 to 6 is good, is average, okay, of what things have always been before COVID things. But this here, 17%, I mean, it seems high. So that shows you they were going pie in the sky with that number. So that's why sometimes when you see these numbers that of homes that sold below list, it's because they were way overpriced to begin with. Now, when it first comes on the market, they're not likely to take $130,000 off because they want to feel the market out. But here it was like 44 days, so it's been a month. So if you see something that's been on there for a month, a lot of people, are more anxious to sell it and reduce the price. But you got to watch what they reduced it, because these people made an offer, at list to the last listing price, which was $635,000. Now, something I wanted to show you here is like this same house. What if it was 7%, okay, that they made instead of that 17%? Well, the house would have sold, as you see here, for $321,000. Okay, now that makes more sense, and probably makes a lot more sense to a lot of you out there. I know there's a bunch of you saying, it shouldn't be over 300, but it is what it is now. Okay, but this 321, I mean, is a lot better than that 635. But you know what? The market is driven by the buyer, someone willing to pay it, and it's worth it to them. And by the way, that one was sold with a VA loan. All right, now we're going to look at the house that sold above. All right, here it's house is in Duval County. Okay, built in 1955. All right, 1,134 square feet. It's actually, as you can see, Jacksonville Beach. Okay, and it's funny because I had somebody put in the comments about something about Jacksonville Beach. That's funny. I mean, I wasn't looking for a Jacksonville Beach home for this, but I just picked it out. It's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. All right. Now this house here, let's take a look at the history. All right, as we see, this one went on the market for $645,000. Okay, and was only on the market for 4 days. Multiple offer situation, all right, on this older house on the beach. Drove that price up to it sold for $680,000, $35,000 above their asking price in 4 days. Oh my gosh. All right, what did they pay for it? All right, they paid for it at the end of 2021. So they paid, in 2021, they were paying, premium prices for the house, $550,000. As you can see right there below, the person that had it before them bought it in 2018 for $360,000. All right, so this was quite a jump there. When we look at the appreciation calculator, we see they've had it for just over 2 years, got 10%. So they actually did pretty good in this market. Again, it's where it's at on the beach. Apparently, there's just, I think it's a lot, but the buyers, beg to differ. I mean, to them, it was worth being close to the beach to spend this money. And this one actually was a cash deal. I know what a lot of you are probably saying, and I'm gonna answer it right now and show you something, okay? You're saying like, all right, they got their 10% and all, but they probably put some money into it, okay? And then either was doing it on a flip or had to sell to get out. I don't know, it wasn't my customer. So they said, well, maybe they put a new roof, maybe they put an AC, maybe they did. It does have a pool, fairly new looking pool, so maybe they put in a pool too. Well, you want to know something? This is where your realtor, depending on the realtor you have, on how well they look. And what I do is I look at the past sales, and if it's available, I look at something that's called a seller's disclosure and see what was it like before. But this one here, these people filled out a seller disclosure, but they were accurate because they had a seller disclosure when they bought the house, so they knew all these numbers, so they had to disclose it. So let me show you what was in their seller disclosure. All right, here we look at the seller disclosure, roof-related items. Okay, the roof, 6 years old. They've had it for 2 years. That means they did not put on the new roof, okay? The pool, okay, that's one thing. It said it looked kind of new when I saw the pictures. 4 to 5 years old, okay? So they didn't put in the pool. These other owners put in that pool, all right? All right, what about the air conditioning units? 7 years, okay? I mean, which is good. I mean, these are all good numbers to have a air conditioning unit 7 years, a roof 6 years in this environment, a pool 4 to 5 years. My point is, these people didn't do it. That's how they bought the house, and then this is what they sold it, and this is what they made off of it from that time. So that was definitely a good deal for them. Multiple offers and everything else. All right, now to get to what happened this weekend. Remember, this was a Bubble Watch Nation person who used me to help them with buying a house. Okay, we went out, found a nice house, real nice house. All right, wanted to put cash down and figured we'd go above. All right, we knew there was some multiple offers, didn't know how many. So he put in an offer above their asking price. All right, now I feel that, well, let me get to what happened, then I'll tell you what I feel I should have sold for. I get an email from the listing agent the next day, a very professional email. This guy did a great job explaining why we didn't get the offer and what happened, okay? And let me share with you the body of that email. This is not a misprint. 19 offers submitted, 17 financing, 2 cash. We were one of the cash, okay? They talk about the buyers, we're looking to occupy, and they weren't investors. The winning offer was the highest offer, and they used conventional financing. 13 of the 19 offers used escalation clauses, and the winning offer had one of the fastest close days, 21 days, although we were doing the same with the cash. I think we were even under 21 days. The binder deposit for the winning offer was significant and among the highest of all offers. 19 offers. This is the kind of crap that we saw in 2021. Is it all? This is happening, okay? People tell me, no, there's no way. It ain't happening. This is happening. Not a lot, because you saw how many go above list. The percentage, it was like 9%. All right, but it does happen. It happened in this case. I was stunned. My customer was stunned what it was. I'm guessing when we were there, he was asking me, what should I put over and this and that? And I says, well, this house will probably sell for about $20,000 above, you know, when you have multiple offers, because it was priced well. And this was one of those deals where they priced it a little bit under probably than what it was to draw the activity, but it was a nice house, had a nice view in the back of water and all that, very clean. It presented well. They staged the house. It looked, I said staged, not sage. Staged the house, so it looked really good. It was a nice showing, a nice presentation. 19th offers. What can you do? All right, that's really hard. Hey, you know what? This is week 41. It's in the can now. And next week is 42. And until then, I'm out of here.